Hello everybody and welcome to yet another UFC review. This is for UFC Fight Night Almeida versus Garbrandt, or UFC Fight Night 88 as it's probably known by its numbered name if you go by that, which the UFC doesn't seem to, but whatever. And let's just get right into it. So our first fight was Eric Koch, who's returning from like a year and a half, 2 years away. Returning in the lightweight division, which I think is a much better weight class for him because he did look a bit slow as a featherweight. So it is. I definitely think he's more suited to lightweight division, especially with how well he did against his opponent named Shane Campbell. And Eric won at 3 minutes into the second round with a really good rear naked choke after wearing Campbell down with some strikes. It was very well done, and there was this beautiful transition he got when he managed to sink into the back. It was just really well done, and it proves how underrated Eric Koch is. I mean, the dude's only appeared in one UFC game. I want him to appear in the current one, which is the UFC 2, probably as a content patch. That would be cool. And we move on from that to a middleweight fight featuring a newcomer named Alberto Uda, who I believe is from Brazil, against a dude named Jake Collier, who I've not seen fight much, so I can't really judge his skills that much. I said much too much. Much too much. Much. Much, much, much. And Jake won in what was actually a really impressive fight for me. It wasn't going so. It was going more in Uda's favor for the first round. Then for the second round, it just like flipped, and Jake managed to get some really good body shots, and then he landed a beautiful spinning back kick to the stomach that ended the fight. Topped off with some ground and pound, won a really good second round TKO. So, props to him. Next up, we have another newcomer named Jordan Rinaldi, who I also believe is from Brazil or American. He's one of the two. I think he's American, and he fought against Abel Trujillo, and this was a good fight, I'll tell you. Rinaldi, in my mind, definitely had better wrestling. I don't know much of the fight, but I've always admired Abel's striking, and I definitely think he won the fight, which is good because he did by unanimous decision. So I can't really complain about that. It was a pretty decent fight, I won't lie. Not the best fight on the card. We're going to get to that, trust me. But it was good. I enjoyed it. It was a good fight. An next fight is pretty, again, like Trujillo versus Ronaldo, another pretty decent fight between Sarah McMahon and Jessica Eye, who are two of the best female fighters going around at the moment. There wasn't a lot that stood out for me. It was mostly clinching and just kind of basic striking. There wasn't a whole lot that stood out, but Sarah McMahon did enough to win, apparently. So, well done to her. Can't fault her. It was a decent fight. But, yeah, we move on from that to the main card. And our first main card fight was Paul Felder, who, ever since seeing him fight for the first time in the UFC, not his very first time, like, since the fight, I sort of, you know what I mean, okay? And he fought against Josh Burtman, who is kind of a resurgent fighter. Not the biggest, but he's definitely a people's champion. I mean, his nickname is the People's Warrior, after all, so it makes sense. I guess he'd be the people's champion if he actually won the belt. I don't know. But it was actually a very close fight, and despite how the decision went, I kind of think Berkman won it all in all. Felder was the one who took the win by, I believe, a unanimous decision, but I don't think it should have been that. I think it should have been a split at least. What do I know? I'm not a UFC judge. If I were, I'd probably call the fights a lot more evenly. Yeah. Well, time neglected to mention that got me hoodie because it's a bit cold. And we move on just effortlessly. We move on to the next fight, which was Lorenzo Larkin versus Jose Masvidal. Two fighters who I enjoy watching because they put on exciting fights. They did their best job with this one. Wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't too bad. Larkin did do enough to win, in my opinion, and he got the decision. There's really not much else I could say. It was a really, really good fight, really technical brawl. I thought I had to burp. My mistake. Next up, we have another fighter who I've always believed is a bit underrated in Chris Camozzi, fighting against Vitor Miranda. Once again, it did go the distance and Camozzi managed to win. and it just proved how underrated I've always thought he was, because he showcased a lot of skills, in my opinion. Vito is the best striker between the two, I won't deny that, but Kamosi was just better everywhere else. Once again, not really much I remember from it except Kamosi won and he really impressed me. I like him a lot, okay? I've always felt he was underrated. As impressive as he was nowhere near as impressive as Rick Story was when he returned against Tarek Safadine, and this was again not. It wasn't a great fight, but it wasn't terrible. Yes, it's all the time to decision, but Rick Story won, and I'm glad he did because he did definitely win it in my opinion. Managed to get Tarek against the cage with some really good clinches, landed some really good striking combos as he broke from those clinches. Definitely did enough in my opinion to seize the win. But now we get to the fight of the night, in my opinion, and it did actually get fight of the night. The co-main event: Jeremy Stephens versus Renan Barao. Stephens won by decision, and what a freaking war this was! It just got to this point, like it was close in the first round. In the second round, it was definitely Barao, I believe. In the third round, it was definitely Stephens, especially with those exchanges at the end. He just started blasting Barao. Nearly knocked him out a couple of times. It was a damn good fight. I enjoyed it. I really did. It's definitely going to be one of my favorites that has just gone the full way and was just a brilliant war all the way through. I love seeing fights like those. If they do go the distance, I want them to be that exciting. That's one of the reasons why I watch the UFC. And next we get to a pretty important fight because it is the main event between Almeida and Cody Garbrandt. Garbrandt being one of the many Team Alpha Male greats alongside, your Faber, Joseph Benavidez, Cub Swanson, I believe, is from there as well. So many great ones. I could be wrong about Cub, but I'm just saying the ones I saw. Chris Ellsworth as well, he's from there. He's a good fighter. And it's a really important fight for both of them because they're both like young, they're both roughly around my age, which is kind of scary because they're both way better looking, way more athletic than I am. And they both have undefeated streaks. Neither of the two have ever lost a fight. Almeida has more fights, he has 21 wins, compared to, at the time, Cody's 8 wins. And no one was expecting what would happen as Cody managed to get the win this time, putting an end to Almeida's streak and adding another W to his own column. Really impressive knockout finish. I loved this fight. Not as much as I loved the co-main event. That was easily fight of the night, but this was a good one. Cody just showed like how vicious he can be. I remember the first time I saw him. I did cover it in a UFC video, but he won by unanimous decision, I believe. Despite the fact that he could have easily won by knockout any time, but he didn't. It's not that he didn't choose to go down for it. He did. He did choose to like try and finish him, but it just didn't happen for him. Not the case this time, as he managed to pull off a really impressive win over a really impressive guy in Almeida. He's not someone you mess with. And I definitely think that this opened a lot of people's eyes to Garbrandt. I definitely think that he's going to be a big name soon. So that's pretty much it for my UFC review of UFC Fight Night Almeida versus Garbrandt. Decent event. I mean, some of the fights went on too long for my liking. I did have to struggle to stay awake for a couple of them, but it wasn't horrible. The main event was standout, and obviously, Barao against Stephens, great fight. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'll see you all in my next video. Peace.